Today, we're going to talk about better card windows, or this other thing that will be apparent later. So what's a card window? Card window is really just a window that is launched from another and sits floating on top. It serves a subordinate purpose to the user's existing workflow, and we're going to talk about it as being a child window to the parent window, which it was launched from. Sometimes card windows are called modal dialogues, especially outside of FileMaker, and it's similar but different to the pop-up. But it can be equally irritating. Now, the key takeaway for card windows is that they are immersive, and whether using card windows or not, immersion should be the standard for software. You don't want your users broken out of that. Now, let's check out some examples. Example 1 is from our proprietary time tracking tool, Time Machine. When you click the View All Issues button at the bottom, opens up a list of issues the logged-in employee has put time against. At least the way we have it here, you cannot accidentally dismiss the card by clicking outside it. This is a good example of immersion. On our second example, I open up a site, and it automatically generates a card window. I guess I accept. Yes, it protects them legally, but it also separates me from the content, and it decreases trust. It breaks immersion. On this site, we do not see a card window. I can bypass it just by accessing the main portion of the site. This is a pop-up. Tampers with immersion, but it doesn't break immersion. I can go about my business. The New York Times should be taking notes. So card windows were introduced in FileMaker 16, and they were incorporated into the new window and go to related record script steps. By default, it opens centered with the parent window. That's going to matter later. The sample file here starts from the perspective of a contact and can open up a card window of related orders on top of it. For right now, immersion is maintained. Here's how you set up the options for card windows. 3 things to keep in mind. First up, do not forget the close button. If you don't check it here, you need to include a custom one on the card window layout. Position variables work differently than you may be used to, and that's the main technical detail we're trying to focus on in this presentation. The third thing is, do not forget the close button. It's easy to goof that up. I ran into this problem with one of our customers who had a card window that was wider than the parent window it was launched from. Here we have our sample file opening a wider card window, and when you open it hugging against the left side of the screen, you cannot reach the close button. Now, there are keyboard combinations to close it, but you can't count on your user to know these. From their perspective, they're stuck. There is no way to close this. Immersion would be shattered. So how do we fix it? A lot of math. Algebra, in fact. So, what can we do? Well, option 1, we make sure the card window is just hugging the edge of the screen. And this is actually quite tricky. It's not impossible, it's tricky. Option 2, we can automatically shift the parent window away from the edge as the card window is opening. To me, this feels kind of rude. The user might have intentionally placed the parent window on the edge, and we want to respect the user's choices. Option 3, center the card window in the screen, just not with the parent window. I want to do it once, and I want to repurpose my code in various contexts. I want as little hard coding as possible so I can move on to other tasks. I went with this third option. We're going to do this in 2 phases. First on the parent window, and then second we'll work on the card window. So we'll start by looking at the parent window. The main thing I want to draw attention to is how FileMaker does math. On a non-card window, like this one here, the point of origin is up on the top left of the screen. But this will change when we do math on the child level, that card window. So be ready for both approaches. First bit of data to capture here is the dimensions of our screen. Second, we want to find the edges of our parent window. And some of you may already recognize what's going on here. The left part of A is easy. Now the top is trickier. We're wanting the top edge of the content for this parent window, but we cannot count the status toolbar. Thus, we have to derive it. Now, it's going to get us a coordinate right here. And eagle-eyed viewers may notice we're simply not accounting for the width of the Mac OS menu bar. And I don't think there's a way around that, but thankfully, it's a trifle. Now we're on the second part, moving the child window into place. A few things I want to call out. First, it's already relatively close to where we want it, but we want it just a little bit higher, right in the center of the screen. Then the second thing is to keep in mind going forward, math switches. Our origin point is no longer up here, but in the top left, right here of our parent, which we already figured out the coordinate in the previous slide. When we do our math on the child, we only have two variables to capture. Just length and width. Let's take our data from the parent, take our data that we just got from the child. What do we get when we bring them together? We come up with the algebra I hinted at earlier. Now, the most important part of the formula is the last bit. When we subtract out the lengths of C and D, it brings us back into view. If we had not done that, we'd be moving the card window off of the visible screen. Now we're going to use these calcs to reposition the child card window so we can now find its new top and left edge. So does it work? You bet your stars it does. So you can see as the parent window is in various positions, the child card window launches in the very center of the screen. Even when it's on the left, even when it is on the edge, and even when it's clipping with the screen. We have maintained the user's immersion for every position of this window. So, here's the script. Short and sweet. That does work with FileMaker. You'll notice the most complicated bit is right there at the end. Now, this was a booger dog to figure out, but the logic itself is coherent. So here's some further things we need to take into account. There is a problem with the menu bar on Macs, and that's too bad, but it's small. We also want to consider my calc assumes the status toolbar is showing on your parent window, but that's easy to adjust in the math if your parent window does not have it visible. Third, I'm not going to say this is bug-free, but I'm going to say it works, and it works well. So, why did we fix this? This very well could have resulted in a support ticket for us. If the customer found it, it would have been memorable to them. Maybe I saw the bug because I'm the engineer. Maybe the user would have never noticed it. So really, why did we fix this? So when I was interviewed for my current position, I was asked something that maybe some of you have been asked too. The question was, we all have basic needs that can be provided for with a paycheck. Beyond that, what attracts you to this job? And my answer then was, it was okay. But the answer I have now is, well, I like more. And it goes like this. Modern life in the developed world is overall safe and peaceful in comparison to that of our ancestors. Now, there are many blessings we enjoy in the here and now. We don't deal with malaria. There are no barbarians shouting at the gates, and war is, comparatively, rare. But our labor is also abstract. Instead of building castles that will protect our families for the next dozen generations, we build software for people to live far away and we have very little common with. Life and work is disconnected. So if I can't get tangible, practical, enduring results out of my labor, I think I'll settle for something else. Excitement. To draw a metaphor, I like to think of what we do in software as akin to mammoth hunting. There's a lot of walking, waiting, and then a flurry of shouts, but eventually we eat well. I like the buzz. There's something palpable about it. It's addictive, in fact. It doesn't happen every day or even every month, but when it happens, it happens. That's why I like engineering. That's why I like events like Code Launch, where it's all hands on deck for long hours, and it pays off. That's why when I saw this window fall off the edge of the screen and I knew that it was fixable, I couldn't not fix it. It bothered me to not try when I know the target is right there. So I did try, and it worked. Now maybe you're like me in this regard. Maybe you have mammoths that haunt your dreams too. What are they? You can't take them all on, but you can take on some of them. And just even throwing the spear is its own reward. Thank you.